Hey mobile bartenders, welcome to Mobile Bar Startup. My name is Don and I own HD Liquid Catering based in Dallas, Texas. I started my mobile bar business in 2000 and since then we have done thousands of weddings and events and pretty much seen everything. We've also grown our business out of the garage back in 2000 into a warehouse with 3 full-time salespeople, management, warehouse team, and drivers along with countless numbers of bartenders. Mobile Bar Startup is about sharing with you everything that we have been through growing our business in hopes that I can help you answer questions about the business and save you time and money in the process. And just remember, none of this is business or financial or personal advice. I'm just sharing all the things that I've done to help us get to where we are. Hey everyone, this is Don back again with you with Mobile Bar Startup here in Dallas, Texas. We are here at my warehouse, the HD Liquid Catering, and today we're going to talk about mixer packages and what we bring for mixers for events. Now we've kind of like systemized this whole thing to make it easier for us on event day. I started doing this a long time ago, like 20 years ago when I started my business, just because I hated to have to rush to put these things together. I wanted to know exactly what I had and how much I needed for each event. So when we put these mixer packages out, this is actually good for about anywhere from 100 to 125 people. So, and how we do it is, and you've probably seen it on a previous video, we set up our sodas in milk crates, so those are ready to go. And then all our juices are actually done, and we used canned juice. Just because, you know what, before for the longest time I would use fresh orange juice for mixers. I would use the big bottles of cranberry juice, and we would just use big bottles of everything. And I found myself throwing away so many different juice because, you know, there's a lot of times that, you know what, somebody would order grapefruit, but then only 1 or 2 people would actually drink out of it. And I didn't have the ability or the means to store it for the next event. So this has actually been a lifesaver for us. You know, these are really handy. They hold up well in a warehouse in hot weather, and they don't have to be refrigerated. And, you know, we just bring a lot of, or we actually just scale what we bring based on the event. So, or based on the mixer actually. So for our normal mixer package, what we do is we bring 40 Cokes, 40 Diet Cokes, 40 Sprite, 40 Dr. Pepper, 40 ginger ale, tonic, and club soda. And then for our mixer package, for juices, we bring 18 cranberry juice, 12 orange juice, 6 grapefruit, 24 pineapple, and then 3 bottles of Finest Called Sweet and Sour Mix. And if you ask, why do you end up bringing more cranberry juice than orange juice? Well, you know what? That's just from doing literally thousands of events and realizing that you don't go through as much grapefruit juice as you do orange juice. And then pineapple juice seems to be the one that everybody loves to drink. And if you ran out of all the other juices, pineapple and cranberry are the ones that people are most likely going to drink rather than orange juice and grapefruit juice. And so what we do is we bring all of this. So we have it already counted and pre-packed, and we put it in these tote boxes that I get from Uline. And all we do is just literally just put it in this. We use the old boxes from it. Fits nicely in here. All the pineapple juices. Now we kind of ran out of the smaller ones, so we throw this big one in there. And then this big one's the first one we go through first, because pretty much any unopened juices we have, we throw away. So toss that in there. And then we end it with 3 bottles of sweet and sour. And then we close it up. And we stack it up, and then we're ready to go. As you can see, we have probably 4 juice boxes ready to go, and also 4 soda packages ready to go. So at any given point right now, I mean, we can pretty much get our sodas and juices ready within just a few minutes because they've already been prepackaged and ready to go. So if you guys—
Hey mobile bartenders, welcome to Mobile Bar Startup. My name is Don and I own HD Liquid Catering based in Dallas, Texas. I started my mobile bar business in 2000, and since then we have done thousands of weddings and events and pretty much seen everything. We've also grown our business out of the garage back in 2000 into a warehouse with 3 full-time salespeople, management, warehouse team, and drivers, along with countless numbers of bartenders. Mobile Bar Startup is about sharing with you everything that we have been through growing our business in hopes that I can help you answer questions about the business and save you time and money in the process. And just remember, none of this is business or financial or personal advice. I'm just sharing all the things that I've done to help us get to where we are. All right. Hey, everyone. How's it going? I am so sorry for running late today. Let's see. What time is it? Oh, 8 minutes. Let me tell you something, okay? We had some videos rolling. Yeah, that's pretty good. But I was actually spending time with the OG himself, Roy Porter. And if you guys have been familiar with with the Mobile Bev Pros website, Facebook, you know that Roy's on there all the time, pretty much, spitting out just knowledge bombs left and right. And he was here in Dallas for a podcast convention, and he called me up and said if I wanted to meet up and have dinner. And you know what happens when a couple of bar OGs just hang out and talk shop. I think even 2 hours, 2.5 hours isn't even enough. So apologize about the wait, everybody. Let's see who's on right now. Hey, Amy. Thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it. My number one fan. And then Stacy, Drinks Made by Stacy's on. Hey, thank you, Stacy. I appreciate it. I actually got on your website like a couple of days ago, checked it out. Not bad, not bad. We're going to talk about that thing that you wanted to talk about earlier. Is everybody hearing me okay? Seeing me good? Awesome. Yeah, and then I think the only thing I'm missing right now is a drink. Do we have is there a beer back there somewhere in the bar? Because I'm kind of like, whoo. Let me tell you guys, I don't know if you know that feeling of you got to be somewhere, you're running a little bit late, and it always happens where you don't have that much gas, and then traffic kind of is in your way, and every force is kind of against you, but we made it, so that was pretty awesome. Water will work. Thank you, Clark. And then for everyone out there that doesn't know, that's Clark back there. That's our producer / kind of bartender for tonight for this thing. And yeah, thank you very much. Yes.
Go Sports.
Go Sports. So anyway, let's see if we got our. Let's see, we have.
I can hear you fine.
Okay, look at that. We are now. There is my screen right there, which is awesome. And then I will have my iPad here set up momentarily so I can do. Because as you guys know from my last live stream, I just I like to talk and write at the same time because it's easier to do that. Yeah, let's see. Let me double check that. Picture in picture. Oh, look at that. Holy cow. What are we going to do without technology, y'all? That's amazing right there. All right. All right, so let's just jump right to it. Since I got Stacy over here, Stacy, let me make sure that my pen is working. And let's shoot to yep. No, that's okay. That's okay. So I've got questions right here. And then let me go over to that real quick. Hope I said everybody in. I don't know yet. It depends. We never know how these go. This is kind of our second go around right now. So, Stacy, how's business up there in New Jersey? Like I said, just kind of just answer through the chat if you want, if you don't mind, while I get this thing set up. What's that? Oh, another one. Holy cow. Guys, let me tell you, we are now way further ahead than we ever have been. But so let's kind of let's just get to it right here. I will.
Oh yeah, why don't you write on your iPads? And some people might not have a chat up. Tell them to check the chat and ask questions on the chat.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Some people just have it up on their phone and not really utilize it.
Okay, all right, cool. So. Picture in picture right there. Yep. So you guys make sure you check the chat, please, to see what other people are typing in for questions if they do. But definitely, please do ask questions on there. And then let me throw it back over here. And then actually, the first thing I want to say is none of this is, I like to say, none of this is really financial advice, business advice, legal advice, anything like that. I'm just a guy telling you stories from my experiences doing this mobile bartending gig, and so hopefully it can help out somebody out there. And yeah, let's get to it. So it's a little slow now, but it'll be pick up for the holidays. Yeah, absolutely. Same here for us. It's going to pick up. I think this weekend, last weekend, we only had 2 events on a Saturday, which is really kind of strange for us. So this weekend, it's finally picking back up to normal, and I'm glad because all the guys in the back are bored. So right here, I've got a question from Stacy. She wanted to ask, she wanted to ask if we'd be able to do video on how much spirits we'd need for events. She said she feels like one of her challenges along with how much you would need for mixers. She's offering a mixer package and including mixers and garnishes for signature drinks. So she wants to make sure that she brings more than enough. So I feel like that's kind of like a two-part question there. And so I'm going to address the first part. It says how much spirits you would need for events. Now, I think you saw my previous video before on how much to do beer and wine. So when we want to talk about this, like how many drinks we want to do, like spirits for events, you know, my number one formula is really, I always forget to put me on there. Okay, thank you, I appreciate that. So it's usually, what we like to do is, 4 to 6 drinks per person per event. So that's usually the best kind of, for us to do that's our metric right there. And so when we do that, we like to do 2 drinks per hour, or 2 drinks for the first hour, and then 1 drink per hour thereafter. And I don't spell or write well, so yeah, that's it. So based on that, let's just say let's just do 150 people event. What I would usually like to do is, if it's going to be 6 drinks on the high end right there, what is that? 6 times 150, that's going to be 900 drinks, right? So you base that 900 drinks, and what I like to do is, what I like to do is kind of divide that by how much of it is going to be based on spirits, beer, and wine. So let's just make this really simple right here, and then just say, just divide that all by 3. So we're going to do 300 servings of spirits, then 300 beer, and then 300 wine. So from there, what I like to do is then just those 300 servings, I usually like to say, let's go here, switch. So 300 servings of spirits. I also like to use 25 servings per bottle for a 1 liter bottle. So at that point right there, so we do 300 servings divided by 25. So at that point right there, what is that? 12 bottles of liquor. And then from there, what you like to do is then divide that into how many, how many of those 12 bottles you want to split up for. Like I said, I would probably bring, for that many people, I would probably bring 4 bottles of vodka, 4 whiskey, and then the rest of it between rum, scotch, gin, and tequila. I can't even spell tequila, y'all. Sorry about that. I would bring just 1 of each. Now you probably ask, look, that's not going to be enough. It's like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Because if we go back to this, we just kind of decided that, we were just going to do it evenly. Now, a lot of times if you said, hey, you know what, if they're going to be more heavy towards spirits, yeah, then I would cut back on the beer and I would cut back on the wine. But for me, this is kind of like my baseline for how I figure out how much I would bring. Now, here's the other part of this. Whatever it is I should bring, I usually add just a little bit more just to make sure that we don't run out. However, if we ran out, the beauty of this is that's why, what is that? What is that little thing that you're doing there?
Take a selfie.
Okay. So the beauty of this little formula for me is that's why I go heavy on vodka and whiskey, because if you do somehow run out of tequila, and then scotch, look, you guys know that people who drink vodka are most likely not going to run or drink rum or gin, but people who drink gin and rum are most likely going to drink vodka. So that's why I like to go heavy on vodka and whiskey, because those are the ones that most people will drink. I'm okay running out of tequila, gin, rum, and scotch, just as long as I still have vodka and whiskey. So that usually is kind of like, that's the thing that helps me out the most, and I stock heavy on those because at the end of the day, what we also like to do is have that left over, because the one thing you don't want to do is run out of vodka and whiskey and just have a crap ton bottles of gin and scotch, because nobody likes that party right there. And so I hope that kind of helps a little bit there, Stacy. I can talk a little bit more about that, like on another video I'm going to do here, probably like after this live stream. But going down to mixers, what I like to do just to make sure that you have enough is set a baseline for, like I said, set another baseline of, if you were going to set up mixers for 100 people, what are you going to bring? So usually for us on a baseline mixer packages, and then this doesn't include like signature cocktails, because what we like to do is we pre-batch signature cocktails, and even if all we're doing is bringing mixer, we go ahead and make those already ahead of time, and we just add their alcohol or our alcohol to it. So our mixer package is pretty much very straight line. So it's just going to be like cranberry, pineapple, grapefruit, OJ for juices. Then we bring, Cokes, Diet Coke, Sprite, ginger ale. And then we bring tonic, club soda. And then we just bring basic lime, lemon, and also maybe every now and then, depending on what, cherries. And that's it. So what I do is I like to go, okay, for 100 people, we will bring, and then also whatever it is, I don't know what size of mixers you use. We use like little, like 6-8 ounce cans, because what we found out is we don't waste as much when we do smaller cans, but I know that's kind of difficult sometimes when you have to source it. We're lucky enough around here in Dallas-Fort Worth that there's like restaurant depots and chef stores that carry these things. But what I like to do is basically, let's just use this as baseline for like if you go to Walmart and you buy the 64 ounce juices. So for 100 people, let's just say, for example, you're gonna bring 3 cranberries, 3 pineapples, 2 grapefruit, 1 orange juice, and then you're gonna bring, let's see, if you do it in cans, 2 cases of Coke, 1 case of Diet Coke, 2 cases of Sprite, 1 case of ginger ale, and then same thing, 1 case of tonic, case of Sprite, and then whatever, like 2 pounds of the lemons and limes, and then maybe like 1 jar of cherries. So as soon as you figure out like, hey, this is what I like to bring for 100 people, and this is what you always bring for 100 people, then it makes it easy kind of moving forward as far as if you have 150 people, then you can decide, okay, then you just bring 2 of these, because what we do is like we like to go ahead and pre-package these mixers so that we don't have to pull them actually on the day of. We like to spend Monday through Thursday already getting it ready and getting it pre-portioned, and even, make, as many as you can handle. Like we like to make like 3, 4, 5 of them at a time for our events. So when it's go time and we're trying to pull for the events, we don't have to think about what we have to get. We just grab the box, put it in with the event, and then we're good to go. So from that standpoint right there, I know it's a really simplified version of probably what you're thinking, but that's the only way to go. Like you can start kind of adding up how you do it and what's kind of what you're comfortable with bringing to an event. But for us, this is kind of what's worked for 20 plus years. And then, we tweak it every now and then, but pretty much by bringing more than what we need, we're actually really good. So how many cans of cranberry? That's really up to you. Like for us, like on those small cans, we like to bring a whole case. So we bring for 100 people, we'll bring about 24 of those, because just like with the vodka and whiskey, look, we're okay running out of OJ, we're okay running out of grapefruit, and just as long as you have cranberry and pineapple, those are your two biggest popular juices. So because like I said, if you unless your signature cocktail has grapefruit or OJ, then that's when you kind of get in trouble. But if you already pre-batch, however you want to do it, like usually for our signature cocktails, I don't know what. To be honest with you, I'm not the one that makes the signature cocktails for our company, but my business partner Heather does, and depending on which ones that the client chooses, we sell it to them in like 5-gallon batches. So what she'll just do is she'll like do a big batch, make it in a big 5-gallon batch, and then we'll put it into little 1-gallon bags, and then as we get the clients liquors, then we just put liquor in there, and then we also just put the garnish, and then but we also predetermine already beforehand how many we're going to do. So that's the number one thing. Like you got, especially on your signatures, predetermine how many it's going to be, because you have to. What's that, Clark?
Do they get to take the leftover batches that you make?
So yeah, usually we like to run out of the signature.
Like extra.
If there is, yeah, they'll usually, if they want it, we'll give it to them, especially if it's non-alcoholic. Now, if we bring the alcohol, we cannot legally give it to them because
so
just
if the batch had no alcohol.
Yeah, then it's just like, absolutely. Yeah, we can give, they bought it.
Take it home and make their own.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. So we do that. And actually we even do that a lot for some of our clients too, is like when we do for like holidays and everything, we just kind of sell the mixer and we just tell them how to make it with their spirit, and then we're good to go there. So yeah, like I said, hopefully this is kind of helpful. It's really kind of a simplified way. I know a lot of people out there they have their own way of doing everything, and definitely bring, a lot of like fresh juices, a lot of people squeeze them on site and everything. But for us, like this is kind of the tried and true, especially when you're doing volume. And because that's another thing you have to think about is whatever you're doing now, if you really want to scale and grow your business, the one thing you got to think about is, okay, it's easy to do this for one event. You only got one event on a Saturday. This is great. But if you really want to create and grow your business, how does your process and how does your system work when you have 4 events in one day? Whenever you'll have 8 events in one day. I know that sometimes for y'all that are only just doing one event every Saturday, that doesn't seem like much, or that might seem like an impossibility. But listen, I've been in your shoes before. I was so excited the first day I had 2 events in one day. I was like, holy shit, I'm the top of the mountain because we've done it, 2 events in one day. Let me tell you something. I wish we were back to being that simple. However, the systems and the processes I created back then to do 2 events have already helped me kind of scale it to where can we do 10, can we do 20? And doing it this way, and especially when you start thinking about, is this scalable? Is what you're doing, can you do it? And also, is it teachable too? Can you teach somebody how to do something? Because that's what's going to slow you down, your business down the road, is if you're thinking like, yeah, everything's got to be fresh squeeze and everybody's going to do this and everything's got to be done the way I want to do it, then I don't know how easy it is for you to do multiple events in one day if you don't kind of keep it as simple as possible. And that's really what we're here to talk about. I didn't really get a chance to introduce myself before we came on. So for those of you who haven't really met me or seen me on our live stream, since this is only our second. My name's Don, and I own this is our second one. No. Yeah, my name's Don. I own a company called HD Liquid Catering based here in Dallas, and I've been doing this for 20 years plus since 2000. And I feel like we've seen it all as much as we can. Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh, look at that. And turn it off. Guys, I'm going to get better at this, and eventually I'm just going to pass this off to somebody else. But listen, so all I want to do is, like, especially with this live stream, is help you guys, help the ones that help you guys, mobile business owners, mobile bar business owners starting off your company, help you get started, try to do it as easily and as cheaply as possible too. Listen, you don't need a huge trailer. You don't need, like all kinds of expensive gear to get this thing started. Let me tell you something. When I started, I had a couple of coolers, some bus tubs, a 6-foot table, and and some linens. And that was it. And guess what? That's what helped me get my business started. It did not look pretty. Let me tell y'all something. It didn't look pretty at the start. And then when I was having drinks with Roy Porter this evening, we were talking about some of the things that new mobile bartenders think about and what's really important for them. And let me tell you something. You know, in the grand scheme of things, how your bar looks is the last thing I think people think about. I know that's not something I don't know if that's a very popular opinion. I know, and how you present yourself matters, but then a lot of people, you know what, if all you're thinking about is how your bar looks, and then, you know, it's like, but your service is slow, your cocktails aren't good, and beer's cold, beer's warm, you know what, then you've kind of already dropped the ball there. So if you're starting out and if you're listening to this or if you're watching this and you're thinking about like, hey, what are the most important things? Like, look, you know, make it to where your service is going to be like your ability to serve and your speed is actually going to be there, because that's really important. But anyway, I digress. Look, we're going to be all over the place tonight, but I really wanted to.
Like the same thing like they say on YouTube, it's content is king. It doesn't matter.
That's true, man. That's true. And then for me, you know what? Like, this is kind of like what I like to do. As much as I like to do like this polished, scripted content like we did before, like this is kind of like where I'm feeling the most comfortable, is just talking to you guys, answering questions, and you know, helping out, especially whatever you're going through. Especially whenever you're trying to, how do you grow your business? Like, how do you go from, you know, a single operator working out of your garage to having what we're doing now? It's like, holy cow, you know, we've got like warehouses, we've got staff, everything. But, you know, I know what it's like. I've been there. I started this business in my mom's house. My dad helped me build all my bars. And, you know, it's like, and a lot of my gear, I kind of just, you know, I borrowed some from where I used to work before. I worked at TGI Fridays. And then I just kind of built it up. You know, I use a lot of equipment that kind of, you know, wasn't probably like aesthetically pleasing, but I knew how to cover it up. You know, it's like my number one trick is really, and I'll show this to everybody sometime down the line it's like I love to just take bus tubs, and that's like my number one best friend for any event. Bus tubs, and you just cover up with a linen, and I just like put all my beers and everything in there, and then, or cover up with plastic and then use that as an ice bin. But look, it doesn't take that much, and you don't have to be all that fancy to get your bartending business going. You just have to start, and then, you know, it's like if you're wondering how to get more business out there, it's like, man, networking is also really the number one thing that I like to tell people to do. It's, you know, I've kind of, when I started before, I mean, there was no.
When you go about finding, like, if they're like from out of state and they don't know where to start to find groups.
Where to find groups?
Yeah, like.
What do you mean? Like, oh man, it's like, man, there's this website. It's called Google, okay, and then Facebook, and literally you just go in there and just Google and look for places to go hang out, networking groups for weddings. And find them first on Facebook, and then next thing you know, try to see if you can connect with them, make relationships with people, because that's like the number one thing that drives this whole thing. It's like relationships are really key in our business, because if you don't have these relationships, like, it's really hard to for me really is to get business, because for what we do, people have to trust you and like you before they even give you business. We've been lucky enough over the last few years that we've been able to be exclusive bartending business for about like 8 to 10 venues, and we are, I don't know, the preferred barcader, or on the preferred list of about like 30 to 40 other venues. And so, and then that's not even really all of them yet. I need to be on more, but you know, the places, Dallas-Fort Worth is huge, and I'm only one guy. But yeah, I think I just kind of went off the deep end there. I went off on a tangent. Stacy, I hope if you're still here, hopefully, like I said, that helps. if you have any other questions, like, yeah, please feel free. You can email me. It's going to be mobilebarstartup@gmail.com. And then, or you can also, like you said, you found me on Twitter. Also, like, leave a comment in our on our YouTube here. But let me go back to. Let's go back and let's look at some stuff on Facebook here that, because I usually like to go in here and then kind of answer some questions. Oops, we'll turn that off right there. I like to go to the Mobile Bev Pros site. Then throw me in there. Hey, how's it going? Oh, and so just as a plug, if you guys didn't know, Sarah Murphy with Mobile Bev Pro, she's actually coming to Dallas on Tuesday, September 13th, from 9 to 5 p.m. And she's doing a mobile bar profitability and visibility mastermind. And so if any of you guys, like, let me tell you something, I love all the educational programs and everything that Sarah has put together for Mobile Bev Pros. I love, if you guys have been to camp last year or the year before, or actually we did it in 2020, the first one in COVID. It was awesome. This is the first time I've ever been in a whole room full of mobile bartending entrepreneurs and geeks, and it's never happened before. And Sarah's the one that actually put that together. And so if you guys can make the trip to Dallas, like, I think she still has a few spots open for the mastermind workshop. Come here to Dallas, and then if you are coming to Dallas, if whoever's listening, if you're coming, reach out to me, Dawn, at HD Liquid Catering, or you can reach me at mobilebarstartup@gmail.com. And let me know you're going to be here. I'd love to meet up, have drinks the day before or the day after, and then love to show you guys around our shop and everything. And, and let's talk shop, because there is nothing I love more to do than just being nerdy like that. Oh, thanks, Stacy. I appreciate that you're still here. If you have anything else that you want to run by me, if you have any other questions, yeah, let me know. But in the meantime, let's I just want to go through here and see what people are asking. And then, see if, there's anything kind of, because I know there was something in there that was really quite, am I on the right one? Or maybe I'm not. Sorry, y'all. I am in the wrong one. See, this is what happens when you're old and you're trying to social media and YouTube. So we've got a question over here. I had a venue reach out and want to contract out bartenders for their events. What would you charge for that? Yeah, I would just charge, like somebody replied back, keep it the same. However, we've also had different instances where because we work with them a lot and then we're exclusive with a venue, we do kind of change our rates sometimes to match the venue. Because sometimes there's if it's a higher end venue and they feel like we're charging too low, then we will charge a little bit higher so it doesn't look like, to kind of match their pricing structure. But then the opposite also happens where we've also had to lower our prices to match kind of like the venue and especially the kinds of brides and their budgets. Now, the only reason why we would lower our price that way is because we are getting the volume. If it's a venue that's doing anywhere from 50 to 100 events a year, basically booked out every Saturday for the whole year, yeah, I'm okay taking a little bit of a loss on the per event or per hour, deal, because we're getting all their events, and that's the whole goal of being in a venue like that. It's because you don't have to actually, you don't have to compete with anybody else with your pricing. So whatever it is, and you don't ever want to be our mantra, with HD Liquid Catering is when we're at a venue and we're the exclusive or preferred, like, we don't ever want to be the reason why people don't go with a venue. We don't want people to say, hey, we love your venue, it's great, but you know what, your bartending service is way too expensive. I can go somewhere else and get it cheaper. That's not our goal. Our goal is to help venues sell. We want them to be like, hey, you know what? We want them to be proud and then happy to be for us being partners with them. And so we kind of, like I said, we work with them. We can be flexible. And so that's what you have to do. So if you end up contracting with a venue to do their bartending, like, yeah, you know what? Talk to them, work with them and see like, hey, what is a good and reasonable budget? And then also if you're down, like there's a couple of venues here in Dallas where we do not charge our market rate because that's just not their clientele. Like they would never book us in a million years or afford to book us. So and then the venue's far away. So one of the things I told them is, listen, I can meet your pricing. However, you have to, let me screech back over to screen one. I said, look, I can meet your pricing, but you have to give me some things to make it easier for me. So the venue is about like an hour away from our workshop here in, or our warehouse here in Dallas. And so I asked them, gosh, I might keep on. Oh my gosh, my picture in picture is just crazy. I just don't know what I'm doing here. No, so I told them, it's like, all right, if we're going to do this, I'm going to go find some bartenders in your area. I'm going to focus on that. However, I can't have those bartenders come into our shop and picking up equipment and everything. So I will need you to give me a space to keep all of our cups and napkins and all of the equipment that we need for our bartenders to execute events over there. And also they said, all right, well, we will also provide all the ice and we'll provide a margarita machine and, you know, all of these things to make it easy for us. And I said, all right, if you give us that, then you know what? Yeah, I can give it to you at X amount per hour. So we really came to an agreement there. And so that worked. So kind of, you know, like I said, work with your venue and see what it is that they're needing, what it is you're looking for. And then, like I said, price it out accordingly. Because if they're already asking to contract that out, like, make that a whole deal. Like, don't just do it for a few events. Like, say, hey, how can we continue to do this? How can we do this? Like, how can we work together? Because that's the goal. Because if you can find one venue, like, listen, that'll feed you 50 to 100 events a year. Those are 50 to 100 events you don't have to go out and find on your own. So that's why I'm really big, huge advocate of, yeah, create relationships with venues especially, and then definitely with caterers and event planners too. So. All right, let's go to that next question. This is kind of like my favorite thing right here, just going through. And also, if anybody has any questions about like trailers and builds or anything like that, yeah, I'm not your guy. Because, listen, we have 4 trailers in our fleet. Like we have a 73 VW bus, a couple of campers, and a horse trailer. But all we did was just acquire other companies that already had them, and then we just basically took them on because I am not good at building anything. So let's see here. Wow, that's kind of nice. Let's see, what other questions do we have here? Oh yeah. So there it is, right there. Again, I'm gonna plug Sarah's event here in Dallas. Listen, Emily said there's only 3 tickets left. To the Profit and Visibility Workshop. And I said, if you're thinking about going, hey, as an added perk, give me a call, let me know, because I'd love to meet with you. And then I'll probably see you guys over there. I'm not actually going to be in it, but I will be hanging out and be a part of it. And Clark, who's our producer here, is actually going to also be taking photos and doing video for that event as well. So I already told you that, right?
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay, all right, just making sure. Because, man, I hate the spring surprises on people.
Wait, when is that?
Last minute. Oh, I saw this question earlier here today. It said, it's like, actually, before I get into this, Stacy asked, God, picture in picture, crazy. It says, what are the best ways to get the client to book from the phone consultation and how to end the conversation so the client feels confident to book with you? Actually, it really depends on, like I said, depending on where you are. Usually for us, and then and forgive me if I don't make sense, because what we've done here in the last few years is we've actually built out. We have 3 full-time salespeople now that handle most of the calls from all our clients. But I can tell you, just basically the whole process for us is, kind of if a client calls, the first thing we do is, obviously answer the phone. Like, I don't know if, that seems so obvious, but, a client feels already comfortable with you whenever they don't have to leave. You don't go into play phone tag with them. If they feel like you're professional enough, like you answer your phone. If you have a different phone number for your business, like you would for your personal, nothing is more annoying than whenever you answer your phone for a business and then you just say like hello, and then they're like, yeah, is this the bartending service? And you're like, oh yeah, it is. Like, yeah, that's not gonna work, because if you do that, that's part of that confidence that they're not going to feel with you. Secondly, and as soon as you start talking to your client and then you start coming to an agreement, like, like you're going to do it, like you've already sent back and forth emails and everything, and they've had a chance to look over your proposal. But number one thing you have to do is literally, like you said, what's the best way for them to, how do you book the conversation is like, you ask for the business. Because for us, the number one thing is I hate being left stranded, for an event. Like, I hate not knowing if a client was going to go, it didn't go with us, or let me repeat that. I don't like maybes. I like to, neither yes, we're going to go with you, or no, we're not going to go with you. I don't like to be ghosted. I hate it when I don't hear from people. I hate it when we spent hours sending them proposals and everything, and then we said, hey, are you ready to book? And then when they say, and you don't hear from them, it's like, that's the worst. So if you're talking about like, hey, what's the best way to basically end the conversation, to feel it's like, yeah, ask for the event. Like, after if you've already had a little relationship with them and you've already been talking on the phone a few times, send back emails, and then, you feel like, okay, you've answered all their questions and there's really nothing else left to do, especially on the sales side and the booking side, then say, hey, are you guys ready to book? And then usually they'll tell you yes or no. And then, you know what? And if they still kind of let you know, it's like, oh yeah, maybe we still have to talk about it. Like, you know what? Then on something like that, like, walk away from it, or not walk away from it, but don't stalk them. Don't call them over and over and over again. Just say, all right, cool. Well, then just let me know whenever you're ready. And then sometimes what we like to do too is say, hey, I would recommend that you book with us sooner rather than later, because my dates are filling up and your availability might not be there by the time they book. So you kind of want to give them some sort of call to action, and also give them a little FOMO of saying like, well, if I don't book her now, she might not be available next week. So yeah, because also just realize too, like, all you're asking them for is they don't need to pay for the whole entire thing at that time. All they have to do is just pay your retainer, and then that's it. Sign a contract and you're good to go, and see you at your wedding in weeks, months, or next year. So hopefully that helps. We are going to switch now back to Facebook, and another thing I saw today was somebody was asking, is it good etiquette or poor etiquette if every time you post on Instagram, your competitor comments on it? You know what? I'm a believer in a community over a competition. So, listen, I don't know how you guys feel about about your competition, but like, I love everybody that's here in our business that does it, because like, there's not enough of us that do it. If you have to imagine, it's like, I love seeing like when I'm at networking events here, like, I love seeing DJs that are friends, caterers are friends, event planners are friends, because there's so many of them. So they're not really, yeah, technically they're competitors, but then they're also like all friends. And like, who else can you talk to about stuff that you're going through? And I remember the first time there was another bartending business, here in Dallas. And then let me tell you, it's like, I always try to seek them out. Like, you want friendly competition. I kind of like, kind of compare it to like football. Like, you see guys out there in boxing, where you see guys out there trying to knock each other's heads off, during the competition, like during the game. But then afterwards, like, they all shake hands, they have a good time, and these guys end up going to dinner and hanging out afterwards. So that's the same way how I feel about your competitors. So yeah, a lot of times I get people, quote unquote, our competitors, like leaving stuff on our Instagram and on our Facebook. And then I do, the same thing. If something looks good, then something looks good. And then I like to I'm not a believer in like copying somebody, but then I like to take inspiration from something that somebody does, because if it works, then it works. I'm not a big try to recreate the wheel kind of guy. And then also at the same time, when we're doing something and somebody copies it, I don't really get too upset about it because, look, it's good practice, and it only helps our industry. It only helps our business. If we're doing something that's good and everybody kind of mimics it and follows along, then that means like, yeah, now that's the standard now. That's what everybody's doing. It's not something where it's like, hey, we're doing one thing and everybody else is doing different things. Like, look, yeah, we want to have standards in our business. And I feel like, when we comment and we kind of like give everybody, we encourage each other, competitors or not, in our business. Yeah, I think that's only a good thing. Oop. God, guys, I cannot get this picture right. So let's just keep going here. Also, I'm not really good at answering questions regarding like permits in different states because you know what? That's 50 different 50 different laws and I tell you what. But if you want to ask a Texas question or just a general like liquor license question, yeah, I'm definitely good to go for that too. And then, oh yeah, this is nice right here. I love this. Look at this, Clark. You see this VW bus right here?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys knew, we also have a 73 VW bus bar that it does not open up like this. Ours is just plain old white one, but it's a great concept. I love these things. The only thing I wish I was better at was I wish I was a better mechanic for it because man, those 73 engines on those VWs are also.
It's a trailer queen.
Yep, that's why we pull her in a trailer every single time. So, and then, yeah, I had Wendy actually leave something here. Wendy, if you're listening or watching later, I'll get back to you on this question because this one's going to be like one where, yeah, grab a drink because we're going to talk for a while about this, especially about building your own space and leasing your own space. I will tell you something. I'll just kind of go off here a little bit, talking about if you're there in your business where you're thinking about like moving out of your house or just keeping it an in-house business or like at-home business, I would highly recommend get an office. My first office was a 300 square foot space in downtown Arlington. I don't know if there is such a thing, but there's downtown Arlington, and then I was paying $300 a month for it. But the great thing about it was it helped shift my mindset from being a smaller, home-based business to now like in my head, I was like a real-time business because I had an office. It was nice to tell people, yeah, come over here, mail it here, do this. I mean, it was really kind of cool. It's like, yeah, it was an expense, but there's something that happens whenever you change your mindset about your business. Like, as your mindset expands, like so does your business. It gets bigger. I just don't know. Like, I've been telling my business partner, like, look, we just have to take risks. And like I said, getting a space is a big risk. But let me tell you something. But if like you can only do so many events and so much revenue out of your house, and they'll be capped at that. As you get bigger and bigger and bigger and move to a space, it allows you to store more things. It allows you to be more efficient. It allows you to create processes that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do at your house. I mean, right now we're doing everything out of a 6,500 square foot warehouse. And you know what? Look, we're paying buku bucks in rent, but no way we could do the kind of revenue that we're doing at our old previous, 1,500 square foot warehouse or a 3,500 square foot warehouse that we used to. Like this place right here kind of like embodied, it's like, I feel like we've probably just done about 70% of our capacity for what this office and what this space can do. And so now it's our job to make it to where, what's our next space to move into to where, so it can't, because like, I want I want us to outgrow this. Now, granted, we've been here for 5 years now, and 2 years of that was COVID, so I feel like we're kind of behind on the eight ball a little bit there. But yeah, the goal is to get more space, because the more space we have, more business.
This is a different question. Do you mind switching to the laptop screen? I'm going to change
Oh.
our frame rate because I've noticed as we go on.
Okay, yeah. So yeah,
Your
let me
laptop
just
screen, I'm gonna change the
switching over there. All right, so I'm gonna just keep on going over here. Got this question: has anybody ever worked a music event? Does the number of drinks per attendee hold true to the 2 drinks for the first hour and 1 drink thereafter? You know what, Matt here, Matt from Ohio, he's right on point. If it's an open bar, yes, absolutely 2 drinks for the same one. But if it's a cash bar, then yeah, you can pretty much like cut that in half, because since people are paying for it, they don't quite drink as much as they would if it was an open bar. So usually, you know what, try to do 1 drink per person on something like that. You know, just imagine like, or actually, so here's what I would do. Let me see if I could go to let me go to my trusty little screen here. So, because like we've been doing some festivals lately, and one of the things that you almost have to kind of like, what are you happy with making, you know? And then also, we did a festival a few months ago, and it was about like 2,000 people, and it was very limited drinks. It was like 3 beers, and then 3 spirits, and then that's it. And so I was thinking to myself, like, all right, how many are gonna drink? How much am I okay with? You know what? If out of those 2,000 people, if everybody had 2 drinks per person, you know what? That's 4,000 drinks. You know, at $8 per drink. You know, then that's what that is. God, my math. Yeah, that's $32,000. You know, at that point right there, it's like, yeah, am I okay with that for 4 hours for that one day? Yeah, I'm fine with that. So, you know, that's how I kind of measure it out. And then depending on what I bring, I like to bring pretty much, like, I can tell you this right now. Like, this one was Heineken, Corona, and Bud Light. So what I did was I brought more Bud Light than Corona, and then more Corona than Heineken. So if I ran out of Heineken, then I'm okay with having Corona and Bud Light. And even if I ran out of Corona and Heineken, I'm okay with having a crap ton of Bud Light. So hopefully that helps. Let's keep going to the next one here. Yeah, this is kind of, let's see if anybody else, if nobody else has questions or has anything else to ask, yeah, then I think we're going to start, kind of like closing up shop over here, guys. I'm just going to go through a few more questions here and see if anybody has anything. And then if not, then, we are going to call it a day. Somebody's asking, what do people use for business automation for business management? I think in our business, what I've seen here, especially on Mobile Bev Pros, is definitely just Dubsado and Honeybook. I wish we would have gone through that ourselves, but then, you know what, the Honeybook and Dubsado are a little bit harder to do with a whole complete staff. It's really good if you're just a solopreneur, in my opinion. Also, Joel Black with eCinch is creating a system, or has created a system that would also make it easier to automate your sales, if that's something that y'all are interested in. And then, I think that is pretty much it for today. I appreciate everybody who kind of jumped on board. If you have any last minute questions before we, please let me know, because
Tell them to check the chat.
yeah, check the chat. Write something down in there. Because if not, we're just gonna, like I said, call it a night. Like, look, we're still gonna do this every week. This is something that we're always just gonna keep doing.
And
This is where you.
the sync, the lag on here, obviously, I think.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, this is all.
That's fine. Hey guys, listen, this is not like this is kind of the next level for us in terms of what we're trying to do. So, so in the meantime, yeah, that's it. I guess we don't have any more questions. And so, y'all, thank you very much. I appreciate you kind of tuning in and watching our Mobile Bar Startup live stream. If you haven't, please subscribe and to our channel, and also like this video because that'll tell you all the new videos we are going to be posting. And yeah, we've got a lot of work here in the next couple of weeks. And then if you have any video ideas, if you have any questions, yeah, leave it. Yeah, comment it on our on our YouTube comments. Let us know, and then if it's something that we can make a video for and help you out with it, that'd be great. Or tune in if you have a question. Tune in next week, and yeah, I would definitely love to answer your questions live on the live stream. And that's it. And then Stacy, seriously, thank you so much. I appreciate your support and hanging out with us all day today. So yeah, I expect you to have more questions next week, and then hopefully we can help you out. So y'all, thank you very much, and we'll call it a night. Cheers. Have a good night. Till next week.
Hey, mobile bartenders. Welcome to Mobile Bar Startup. My name is Don, and I own HD Liquid Catering based in Dallas, Texas. I started my mobile bar business in 2000, and since then we have done thousands of weddings and events and pretty much seen everything. We've also grown our business out of the garage back in 2000 into a warehouse with 3 full-time salespeople, management, warehouse team, and drivers, along with countless numbers of bartenders. Mobile Bar Startup is about sharing with you everything that we have been through growing our business in hopes that I can help you answer questions about the business and save you time and money in the process. And just remember, none of this is business or financial or personal advice. I'm just sharing all the things that I've done to help us get to where we are.